I love living in Buffalo. We've been here a short time, but
here comes the but.
But
like a big but.
It's just it's frustrating sometimes to look at the community pages and just look at people trashing the businesses we have by saying we don't have good businesses here. We need better businesses, and I don't think that's what they're intentionally doing all the time. But it is saying that, well, that's not good enough. We need something else. And I love the businesses we do have, and I really do want to see what we can do to bring those businesses up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Invite new businesses in, but also, what can we do to, really support businesses that we already have?
This is the Buffalo Community Podcast, all about the greatest small town in the USA, the people in it, and how it all works together. Here are your hosts, Tyler Reese and Mark Benzer.
All right, I got the backwards hat on, so you know what that means. We got another solo episode. I turned my hi, I'm cool Tyler.
Yeah,
it's like a cool dad Tyler.
Right.
Yeah. We're kids. We're here to have fun. But we decided we got another great recording day. But we decided, we're going to do another solo episode because we have no idea when this is going to air, and we're coming into our summer months where you're busy, I'm busy, Luke's busy. We're all doing some family things, so we always like to have a couple of these in the bank. Luke came up with a great idea, and on the piggybacking of Mark reading a post on Facebook the other day about
restaurants.
In kind of more of the greater umbrella of people kind of like to complain about social media about stuff in general. We're going to talk more about the restaurants right now.
Yeah.
So give us a synopsis of what the complaint was.
Sure. It was mostly just and it's not, the inspiration isn't from, just one post, but just chatter you hear a lot about why can't we have this restaurant or that restaurant or great restaurants, right?
Comparing us to another city.
Comparing us to another city. And I think people forget that we do have great restaurants in Buffalo.
Yep.
And that to me, it's open it.
Yeah.
Open the restaurant. Like, if you're looking for it, open it.
Yeah.
And you take the risk, you put the work in, and you open it and do a great job, and everybody will love it and everybody will go there, right? But I think there's an idea out there that the city of Buffalo, city council, or whatever,
or
is
Buffalo, whatever that means.
Yeah, is dictating, is squashing somebody's dreams of, opening a restaurant. Yeah. And some of it, like larger chains, I think Green Mill was the one that was mentioned. The restaurant has to want Buffalo more than Buffalo wants the restaurant.
Right. So if you don't know how it really works, especially with these very large chain businesses, they look at the demographics of the humans in that area.
It's a very non-emotional decision.
Absolutely. Right. We are numbers to them.
Yeah.
It is, what is the traffic count in front of that? I mean, even down to location. Mm-hmm. Do we have at least 80,000 people to pull from in the next 10 miles or 15, whatever it is?
Yep.
And Buffalo's not that, really.
Right.
I mean, you're just not, or within, X amount of traffic count. So I think that's what people don't realize the most, I think, especially when it comes to any type of amenity, of people paying for it, people actually using it. And then secondary, or thirdly, whatever, is if it's here, you have to support local if you want it to stay.
Yeah, right.
I love supporting local, but I also love going to Punch Pizza in Maple Grove. Mm-hmm. It's 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of give crap about, we should have a cinema or a movie theater. You know what? Monticello has a fantastic one. So does St. Michael.
Yeah, I'm not putting my money into a movie theater in this town.
Heck no. And again, for as nice as the movie theater downtown Buffalo looks, it's an awful location with horrible parking.
Other than that, though,
for a movie theater, when you want to get 500 people here for a movie, you don't have great parking.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, how often is it just it's just a case of the grass is always greener on the other side. So you've been in Buffalo for a long time. You're tired of the options we have here, and so you want
100%.
something different. Because,
yes.
like, as someone who hasn't been here very long, and grew up in like a real small town, like a really small town,
we can't
Buffalo
even-
had a Buffalo had a Walmart and a Target.
Yeah.
What? You could have both of those in the same town?
Yeah.
Like there were so many amenities here that I was not used to.
Yeah.
And I haven't, grown tired of it quite yet. And, I haven't been here my whole life, so I can't quite say, I'm not in the same situation, but it always feels like, well, I had that so many times. I just want something different. And, it almost is like an adolescent complaining about, well, why don't we just get this thing that I want here?
And then I'll never leave town again for food.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I've been there 5 times and I go, we need more restaurants in this town.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we got Forget Me Not, we got Gather, we got Milk. I shouldn't have started this because I'm going to, we got good Mexican restaurant options. We have, and those are all people who who chose
Yeah.
to dedicate their life to opening a restaurant.
One of my favorite / least favorite comments. Oh, we don't need another Mexican restaurant. You know what? They seem that they can be able to make money at it. So
Yeah.
bring it on. I love Mexican food.
Yeah.
I'll take another one. That's fine to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fajita me up, buddy.
Yeah. I think it's a case of somebody else should do this because I want it.
Right.
Somebody else should.
Or a hair place or occasional shop or something. Like, you know what? Those people have found a niche to be able to be successful in.
Right.
Be okay with that or do it yourself.
Do it yourself and take the risk, right? You're not going to get a bank loan for a restaurant. You know why? Because it's probably going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, again,
Ouch.
a non-emotional, right? Like
Yeah,
most of them,
Random commenter on the internet.
they come and they go in the eyes of a bank.
Yeah.
Right?
So I
remember.
got a question actually for someone who doesn't quite understand like the local politics as well. What is the city and the city government's role in a new business coming in? Say there's someone who wants to come in. Can the city just say no, or what's the process of that? I don't know, so I'm curious asking you guys.
So what I understand of it, I'm not a professional at this for that. Now there's going to be some things that would require a permit or a license to use, like even like hair stuff, like safety stuff, food stuff. But generally speaking, they're not like for restaurants specifically. It's like, okay, cool. If the location's already there, it's built out, and you're just remodeling. Okay, yeah, here's your permit to operate. Now, right now, who knows where that new Chipotle and mystery coffee place is going? That's right. Currently, we're in May right now. It's in a process of, do we need to rework some of the road structure? Okay, great. That's kind of their process of, does it fit our traffic patterns? Does it fit in our current code? All of that. So anything to fit into the zoning compliance system, they're involved in. But if you wanted to have a Chipotle or a Burritos, our sister city right down Highway 25, fantastic burrito place, I suggest going there. It's another Mexican restaurant. It's fantastic burritos. They make their own tortillas. Not that this is a commercial for burritos, but they're really good. But anyway, so they're involved in that manner. But, to say, you know what, they're not playing Sim City at City Hall saying, I think a pizza joint would be good there next to, you know what, I think we need a wing joint over here. Or, I don't know, I'm a very simple eater.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and even
good
then,
at
do you want your city running a restaurant?
No,
No.
no.
Like, I want a restaurant operator
Kind of want them running
a
less
restaurant
things.
and doing really well. And I would love it if somebody opened a pizza joint with gourmet burgers and all the things, right? I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love to have that here. But I'm not going to do it.
No.
And I'm certainly not going to tell somebody I'm not going to tell somebody else that they should, unless they want to and know what they're getting into. But
A coffee shop is the same thing. So let's talk that. We don't need another one. But
They are closing.
Caribou Coffee has found out that, hey, they can make money at this we are numbers to them.
Yeah.
If they can make money, they're
Yeah.
going to do it. It's kind of like putting 2 car dealerships, 3. You got Ryan Chev and Ryan Dodge, and then you got Moore's across the street. Mm-hmm. The competition's good. People are buying cars. I mean, I think just people just kind of need to realize there's a world bigger outside than themselves.
Yeah, I get it. So you're a business moving, you want to start your business, you want to go somewhere, say you're a restaurant. What would make you choose Buffalo? We believe Buffalo is the greatest small town in the USA. That's in our tag. Why would you choose Buffalo over Monticello or somewhere in the 94 corridor? Or, why would you choose Buffalo instead of those towns?
Me personally?
Yeah, if you were starting one.
Because I live here. It's a commute. But I would look at traffic patterns and the ability to make money at it. Mm-hmm. So I would, and if I were to start one, that's a good one. If I were to start one, what I would start is like a fire brick oven pizza place where we're going to have like 3 types of pizzas, and we're going to be able to get them out very quickly so you can actually get in and out at lunch, kind of like 90 seconds, like Punch Pizza. So like a commercial of all the places I like to eat. But I mean, that thing's done in 90 seconds because it's an 800-degree oven. You're in and out. But I would give limited options with really good food at a reasonable price so you can overturn a lot of things.
I'd like to be able to sit down and have a pizza somewhere. Right? We have
Yeah.
So we have Wecos, we have Norm's. Mm-hmm. I like a cool pizza joint. Mm-hmm. They got pizza and they got wings.
Traffic wise, would you look like to start in the downtown area where you got a lot of foot traffic on the weekends, or you think you'd go somewhere a little bit closer to 55?
I think you got to go somewhere closer to 55. Mm-hmm. I mean, I look at where the biggest businesses at of their lunch breaks starting. That's going to be a huge draw. I think it's unfortunate that the government center moved out of downtown for that reason. I think that hurts downtown for the restaurants specifically. Not that the government center is a reason to have restaurants downtown, but it was a good draw. But I would probably concentrate up towards that way, somewhere where a lot of people already are. Mm-hmm. So you don't actually have to work. You can work on making good pizza and good service and all that, where you don't maybe have to work for getting that word out. People can actually see you.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody should do it.
I didn't realize I had so much of an opinion about this topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. One of the problems I have with complaints like this, we're not that far away from Maple Grove. And then secondly, another one is a community center. I would love a community center with a nice cool pool, all of the amenities as well. I don't want to pay for it. Straight up, I don't want to pay for it. I don't want the city to have to pay for it. I want it to be self-sustaining. That's my own personal opinion. And for everybody saying it's a very small, loud amount of people that want something like that. I think everybody wants it. We just disagree on how to get it paid for. Just because there is a space doesn't mean there should be it should go there. Mm-hmm. Which I think whatever happens with the community, the old government center, I think that's really important on how that's executed. But you've got 3 governmental factors in which we know the government is super efficient in doing anything. You've got a county-owned building. You guys can chime in anytime you want. A county-owned building along a state highway inside city limits and zoning. Tell me where that's going to go smoothly. Mm-hmm. So it's just not. It's almost it's a no-win situation, in my opinion.
But it does show like where they do have a little bit more power of who could potentially come into town. Is that can be zoned for residential, that could be zoned for commercial business. Mm-hmm. It really does give them a little bit of say, but It is interesting to see, and I'm excited to see what will happen in the next few years downtown there.
Because I think there's it's open right now. I think for hey, give us an offer. What do you want to do here? So what do you want to do? So they are kind of doing it right, at least taking some type of input. But from talking with some of the people involved in processes like that, is you're going to get some low things. I don't think you're never going to get retail for what it's actually worth. nobody's going to come and use it as an office space again.
Right.
It's going to be, can we make money at this?
Yeah.
Period. That's what.
And what's
business
most
capitalism-
profitable? Probably nothing exciting.
Right. It's going to be.
I mean, that's what I'm preparing myself for, right?
yeah.
Townhomes, apartment buildings.
And honestly, I what do you think? What do you want to go there? Or what do you think would be a good spot there?
I think I'm a little bit on the opposite side of you as on the community center. I would be willing to pay for it, and so I do think something like that would be cool. But I'm not opposed to, when we interviewed the city council candidates, I think there's some cool opportunities with housing and retail.
Yeah.
I think that would be, very cool. You see it a lot more towards the cities with the grocery and the restaurants and the delis down below, or even Havenwood here, has a little bit of a deli going on. I don't know if it's open to the public or not.
Well, there's a new building up in Monticello along River Street there, which is retail on the lower level, which I think would be a great spot for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but they also made a really, really good point is if you have people trying to cross Highway 25 to bring them up, I mean, that's a very big issue.
Right.
Now that you're asking to go there, and there's a lake in the way. It's not exactly like you can't expand in 4 areas. It's pretty limited, just the geographical difficult of the space.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really unique problem to Buffalo. I mean, like, it's not something like, oh, they did this in a situation like that, but like nothing is quite like it. So it's just fascinating to see, what will happen, what will come down. And I don't have any, say or really, I don't really have any preferences. I'd like to be something I could use. If it's like community center, sweet. If it's a restaurant, sweet. Maybe if it's just a couple shops here and there, I'd like to be able to use the space. Because right now, my wife and I will go on walks past the library, and it's a nice area. So I hope it's something that's community focused. But if it's housing, it's not going to really change my life at all. So
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't want to get controversial here, right? Because I think Buffalo should have a library. I think libraries are good things to have. I wonder if that space could be used for something other than a library.
I think they should have found space in the new government center for the library.
Mm-hmm. That would make a ton of sense.
They probably don't need one of the best spots in town.
One of the only spots and open, available. Like you can't build on a lake in this town.
I also wonder, they have that really ugly electrical transformer thing right behind the House of Low. I wonder when they redo 25, can that be moved? I mean, just to kind of beautify it. I mean, like, I think it's an underutilized section of the lake and the downtown. I mean, you have to kind of work to get over there. I mean, when we go get What's a Scoop ice cream, we always walk over there. Brady, you owe me $5 now.
Burrito, punch. What's the scoop?
Man, we're hitting
new sponsor of the Buffalo Community Podcast.
Tyler's lunch schedule.
Right.
We'll walk over there and sit on. There are some seating areas. It's a really cool wall, but it's not exactly easy to get to. And I would tend to agree. A lot of people don't know it's there. And you look down on the beach, and it's not very well maintained either. I mean, it's dilapidated. It's neglected, I think, and I just think it's like, well, it's not a beautiful walk up to it with that electrical thing.
There's so much potential. Just seeing what could and dreaming about it is fun, and then realizing it's got to get paid for somehow, and that could come out of property taxes and things that we're paying, or that maybe changes some things. And so I'm like, well, maybe it's okay if some private businesses take that over, and it's not something that is on our.
Well, and that's where too, like where. Going back to, I'm preparing myself for something not, because it has to get paid for.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either pay for it through property taxes or, so then there's the other side of that coin of like, hey, if we can get more people throwing taxes into the bucket, so that's where the apartments and the multifamily housing comes into play, where it's like, it's not the exciting thing to do, but
might be the smart thing to do.
Might be the smart financially thing to do. Mm-hmm. And believe me, I want something I can get excited about. I don't get excited about new apartment buildings. I don't get excited, but like there's more, going back to the restaurant. I want more restaurants. I want all the greatest restaurants in the world, but the grass is always going to be greener. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be options, better options outside of Buffalo, no matter what comes to town.
Yeah.
And so what do you want and what makes sense isn't always the same thing.
Right. There's also another aspect of it is, do we want Buffalo to be a 40,000 person city?
Right.
I think inevitably, as progression moves out from metro areas, we will be eventually. Mm-hmm. But, there's also a lot comes with a higher population as well.
I think there's something to be said with growing well, though. So, like, if it's inevitable that it's going to happen, why not, prepare for that right now versus, just, trying to hold on to that small town feel for as long as possible and then be blindsided by, being a big town.
Growth, yeah.
So I think there's definitely something to be said. What are some businesses in town right now that we could support, that we really like, that we could, really pour into our local community?
Yeah.
We love Punch. We love going to these places outside, and our grass is always greener. But what are the places, in our grass that we could, support locally, so that when we get new places, so that it's attractive for new businesses to come here?
Yeah. Rancho Grande, Bougainvilleas.
You shouldn't have started this.
Illegal.
Forget me not.
I just went with Mexican restaurants.
Gotcha.
I'm on a Mexican food kick. But, I think it is important to do that. But then it's complementary. I don't think some of these restaurants feel like they're in direct competition with each other because they're also different right now. When you see them, all of these they're super friendly, they're outgoing, they're great to their patrons, they've got good food. And I think when it's complementary, because they give different things, a rising tide raises all ships type deal. So I think.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Write it down here. Just do it. I mean, when you think of something, you just do it. Just say it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. You just have to be okay with that. I mean, there's also, I don't know. I think there's a big deal about just shopping local, and I'm not saying anti-Menards. They've got stuff that we need too. We don't actually have another lumber yard. They also have nuts and bolts too. Mm-hmm. But it's nothing against Clat-Trevally. I go there all the time as well for other things. You're in and out. That's where I get bait. Mm-hmm. Boy, I'm naming a lot of people, and I love Buffalo. I try and support everybody. So
right. Well, and I think it comes down to the fact that we all agree on a lot of things, but then there's these other things that we don't agree on. Yeah. We all want restaurants. We all want a community center. Yep. We all want, right? So let's not forget that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm going to backtrack on not wanting to pay for it. I'm willing to pay a fee to get into something.
Yeah.
But I don't let's take the golf course, for instance. It was a money sucker for a long time. And I'm so glad the city was able to sell it.
To golf course management.
Correct. So that's what I mean by that. I don't think it should cost the city, and I don't even think it should be a community center that is city owned. I mean, if it's something that is amazing, if it's a business, that's what I'm talking about, because I don't think they manage the city. We're not in here for community center stuff. We have some stuff like that, and there could always be upgrades to facilities, but like when we're talking about the rock wall, the pool, just a major event area, I was like, well, I think it could be differently done other than government ran.
Splash pad for Andrew would be a good example.
Yep. So, but that was also, they were doing all the front-loaded work and then giving it to the city to manage.
But but charging a fee,
right,
for use, and
I
think
they're doing it better. It's a hybrid. Yeah. Yeah. Look, you got some good questions. Keep them coming, man.
I love living in Buffalo. We've been here a short time, but
But here comes the but. But
But
like a big butt.
it's just it's frustrating sometimes to look at the community pages and just look at people trashing the businesses we have by saying we don't have good businesses here. We need better businesses, and I don't think that's what they're intentionally doing all the time. But it is saying that, well, that's not good enough. We need something else. And like I love the businesses we do have, and I really do want to see what we can do to bring those businesses up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Invite new businesses in, but also, what can we do to, really support businesses that we already have?
So here's a hook, because they're going to get an opportunity is comment the support of who you like to support on here. So let's blow this fire thread up, just comment who you like to support locally, because I think they're wrong when they say they're trashing on businesses. I think they're wrong much in the part. It was something that, as John Hayden said about the academic luncheon. I was talking to him. I said, gosh, we've got some really great students here at Buffalo High School. And there was 120 of the 450 or 500 students, 25% that are academically excellent that I think get a bad rap. I'm just trying to correlate this of everybody thinks that teenagers are just we're sitting here, we're not producing anything, we're not doing anything productive, whereas kind of actually wrong. Let's highlight a lot of the great things instead of the minority of Gen Z or whatever this generation is.
all these kids these days, all they do is look at their phone
when they're
You're
not
doing the same exact thing
as you're listening on your phone.
as you're listening. That's what I'm saying. Is it's not a kid thing. It's a human.
It's a human thing.
It's a human thing at this point.
But it's also not exactly true. Business is hard.
right.
I mean, it takes a lot of courage, and you know what? There's always a loud negative minority, and I find that I try and block that out.
Yeah.
Check out our Hall of Fame episodes.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So, well,
I didn't know I was going to talk that much this time. And I'm open for criticism. I've heard it before.
yeah,
which is fine.
Maybe you disagree.
So comment down below businesses that you want to see supported here in Buffalo, but also if there's a business that hasn't come on the Buffalo Community Podcast that we could highlight and that we could elevate, let us know, tag them, send us a DM. We would be happy to, consider and bring people on and highlight those businesses in Buffalo.
Yeah. Cool.
Sweet.
Awesome.
For the Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler Reese.
I'm Mark Benzer.
Luke Edlin. Thanks for listening to the Buffalo Community Podcast, produced by Edlin Media. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts.